I just got done watching the newest episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And baby, let me tell you, this franchise is having its prime time right now. All of them are understanding the assignment. All of them are clocked in. Every scene is enjoyable. I am thoroughly entertained. I am actually interested in the storylines. And I think other franchises at this point in time can definitely cut off a little piece of advice from the SLC girlies. But before I ramble on too much, let us get right into the recap. So, a couple of interesting things happened in this week's episode. We start off with Whitney and Lisa meeting up for a little charcuterie lunch. At this point, make the charcuterie boards an official friend of SLC because the ladies love to have a nice spread on their table while they are spreading some mess, okay? So Lisa and Whitney get together and they talk about the Prism event that Whitney threw a couple of days ago. Whitney's, kind of relaxing at home. Justin's at work. It's the first time she kind of gets to just tone down and just chill. And Lisa decides to talk about what happened at the Prism event. Whitney quickly cleared pretty much all of that around that did not involve her event by saying she pretty much does not care what went down, and she made it clear to Lisa that she found it very disrespectful that the two of them were screaming, fighting, making a mess, pulling everybody's attention towards them, whilst Whitney was here trying to sell her products, and Whitney does not have it, okay? She decides to explain to Lisa how to behave at events, and Lisa is just, Miss Lisa Barlow. She can never see it from another perspective of any other cast member. That's just who Lisa is. If you love her or hate her, it doesn't matter. It's just facts. And she's like, okay, got it, understood, fair. She was definitely not listening to a single word that Miss Whitney was spewing, okay? At one point, she even told her, please do not cuss around my home because the kids are out here roaming these corridors and wanting to kind of get in on the tea. And her little son was at the staircase trying to, actually get into some of the mess by listening in. That was too funny. But anyways, Lisa and Whitney kind of hash things out. You can obviously tell Lisa is very irritated. Even in a few later confessionals, she says she feels as if she's kind of in a weird place right now with Whitney. She's not sure. I was not surprised by that at all because we all know Lisa, and getting into a normal discussion with her can make her feel like you are against her. And that is no shade. I love Lisa Barlow. It's just what it is. We then actually jump to, and I was surprised by the whole scene because I didn't think it would go down as good as it did in my humble opinion. We move to Heather and Mary. So it's actually Heather's first time going over to Miss Mary Cosby's home, okay? Heather is just in awe. She's like, I get up for two things only. One, I forgot, and second, to go to Mary Cosby's home, honey, okay? Because it is grand. We get a little tour of Mary, and Mary is definitely a maximalist. She has so many colors, so many on brand things. It's kind of all over the place, but very fitting for her, in my opinion, because each room has a different brand, a different color. Just like Mary, you never know what you're going to get. And I felt like Mary was very inviting to Heather. She was very positive, most of the time at least, and very much the conversational flow between the two of them was almost as organic, if not more, than Mary and Meredith, because Mary and Meredith are the only ones that are friends outside of the show ish, if you look from Mary's perspective. But, anyways, Mary wants to talk about the book, the part that she was written in about from Heather, discussing how she feels that, you know, she has this connection with Heather because of their spiritual backgrounds with the church and stuff. So it feels like the both of them can definitely talk about a couple of things that went down in their past regarding like religious trauma, religious, experiences that they both share similarity with. I mean, I think Mormonism is a branch of Christianity. I believe, I'm not so sure. So I guess Miss Mary Cosby, being a church owner-ess herself, she definitely had a spat of words in that topic. But the whole point of the sit down was for Mary to actually, tackle down the things that Heather wrote in her book about her. So Mary's like, well, do you believe those words were true? I don't feel like I was harsh to you. I felt like you were harsh to me. And baby, one thing about those producers down in the production, they are going to pull up a clip from earlier seasons where Mary said that Heather and her little judgmental self does not even know that she looks inbred. I, for the love of God, cannot make this up. Try explaining this to a child from the Victorian era. They would get a seizure at the spot immediately. And that is what makes The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City perfect. It is almost too good to be true, a parody like of what the Housewives should be, but so authentic, so kooky, so out of order that it's just magical perfection. But anyways, Heather clocks Mary and says, every single thing I wrote about you in my book is very true. And actually, do you honestly think I look inbred? And Mary said, I think I do, without hesitation. I was like, Mary, you could see how that hurt Heather's feelings in the scene. She was like, well, that would mean that, you think I'm ugly. And like it or not, like the filler look, the Botox look, the stretched look, the pulled and tucked and nipped look from pretty much all over the world, you cannot say someone looks inbred. And I personally think Heather is a gorgeous woman. She is beautiful inside and out. She has, in my opinion, a pretty face. Yes, she has dominant features such as heavy cheekbones, a good, nice, sharp jawline, but come on now. Let's not be rude. Let's not play about it. I don't think that was nice of Mary to ever say that. But what I will give her half a flower for, she actually apologized to Heather. She was like, if I said this that made you feel a certain type of way and hurt you, I never intended to do that. I was angry. She took accountability. She took it on the chin. She apologized in the Mary Cosby way. But Mary Cosby is definitely here to stay. I feel it in my gut. She is going to form this alliance with Heather and Meredith. With Meredith, she already gets along super well. So I do not see anything in the future prohibiting them to form a good, relationship. Other than the fact that sometimes Mary needs to check her own mouth and what she says and maybe think before she speaks. Like, went on Watch What Happens Live. I know that Heather is kind of honored to be in Mary's mouth and she kind of takes it on the nose herself, but there are just a couple of things that definitely don't need to be said like that. Anyways, we then jump from Heather and Mary to Seth and Meredith, and I have to give a very quick applause. It was the first scene, actually, for Meredith and Seth that I was like, okay, this is not boring. Because in the last episodes, I kind of thought, well, the two of them are not really giving, but the vulnerability in this scene shocked me to my core because I was not expecting Miss Meredith to gather Seth and expose him on the spot like that in a way that did not evolve into a fight, but actually erupted into a very emotional moment between the two of them, where he even actually apologized, because we come to find out that Miss Meredith moved from Chicago to Utah City, wrote up a post-nup because she felt as if he was going to leave her and take the kids away from her. And they both get very emotional. They both get very watery eyes. Seth is breaking down and crying and apologizing. I thought it was a very good scene between two people in a marriage. A scene that is very real. A scene that has probably the occurrence of 50 to 60 to 70% in every single marriage. So I applaud Meredith for actually once really showing us things from her own personal life. So anyways, we jump from Seth and Meredith to Monica and her mom. Monica's helping the kids with, I think, a project down at the house. And her mom pulls up with her kidnapped Range Rover and her funky pigtails with a PJ and some boots. I was like a whole mess when I saw her pull into that driveway, and Monica was like, stay with the kids, Bree, do not come out, do not let her in. Monica and her mom are a whole mess, okay? They are definitely dysfunctional. I feel it in my gut that Monica's mom is going to be brought into this reunion, so this reunion can be elongated. I don't know if they'll get so much content to put this in a 3-parter. A 2-parter is definitely in store with all the mess that is going down between Heather and Monica. And there is a lot of mess to talk about, Monica and Angie, Monica and Lisa, Monica and Whitney, not Monica and Meredith, and also, Mary and the girls, the trip to Bermuda. So I'm really excited for them to film the reunion. I think they'll film it in a couple of weeks, actually, in I think 3 or 4. There is this rumor going around that the SLC ladies were not given a panel at BravoCon, not because they're flopping, but because production thought that they would be getting into it a little bit too much and expose some juicy details that have yet to come out on the show. So I definitely understand the production's decision on that side. So we do not get robbed of too much and get spoiled a lot. But anyways, the mom is like, I have a gift for you, and here's your car back, whatnot, and whatever. And Monica's pretty much not buying into her BS. And she's like, well, it's you and me. We can break this generational trauma, In our family, it goes generations back. It's you and me to break the cycle. I believe in therapy. Let's go to therapy. I was serious at the dinner. And I like that she's making an effort. But if she's just making an effort for the camera, honestly, Monica, consider eliminating people and going no contact with them in your life when they no longer serve you, even if it is a relative, because I can see that the two of them are not good to each other at all, okay? And she basically took back her car. She's like, I have to think about it, but enjoy having your walk home. She really sent her mom to go walk back to her place, which is just half a mile away. So it's like a 5, 6, 7 minute walk. And you have her mother on Twitter out here complaining and bitching that it was freezing. Well, I'm sure your granddaughters felt that it was freezing when they were walking to their destinations because they couldn't have a car when you were kidnapping the vehicle, the only means of transportation that they had. Just a thought, just a little fun fact about that whole situation. So after Monica and Linda, we jump to Heather. Heather is organizing the first more intimate book club type of thing for her book, a little event. And one thing about Heather and her events, she's definitely going to pull through. It looked gorgeous. You had Vita Tequila being there. All the fans were there to get the copy of their book signed. And actually, she was asking Lisa about her joining her up on the stage and performing a little rap for her. So Lisa actually did. She joined. She helped Heather out. They had this little fun segue with Away in a Manger. Heather comes out. Everybody's clapping. Angie and Monica get kind of giggly at the end towards Lisa, which I don't blame. Lisa definitely does not have a career in rap, but as Meredith said in her confessional, she definitely, and I definitely, give her credit for that performance because I would have definitely not done it. So after this event and some, turbulences along the way, like Meredith and Angie K making up, I guess, in a very passive-aggressive way, and Lisa side-eyeing the both of them, we actually see Heather and Lisa getting into a very nice conversation once again in this episode. This episode was just chef's kiss. They were talking about the religious experience. They are both understanding each other's point of view. Heather told a story beforehand on the stage about, a missionary that she met, that she connected to, that she felt, kind of a duty to tell him, if you want to leave this, you can. There's definitely no shame in the game here. And Heather once again says how hurt she is with not being involved in, that whole thing. And Lisa actually makes a very calm and collected point to her that Heather definitely mustn't be so judgmental towards the religious experiences of others. Lisa definitely validated Heather in the way that she was treated in the church, about how her experience was definitely hard for her, and how she acknowledges that, but she should also take and acknowledge that Jack's thing is going to be not only abiding by the Mormon rules, but going around the world and spreading kindness, and that being the main thing for Lisa. And for her, those rules just don't apply, and she finds purpose and religion in that, even though Heather did not when she was Mormon. So they both acknowledge each other. They both have a very good standing point now with each other. Lisa, even in her confessional, said it feels good to be at this place with Heather, and Heather pretty much confirmed and said the same thing. So after this scene, we get I believe, if I've not skipped over a couple of scenes, I just pretty much talk about the scenes in a chronological order that really stick out to me. I'll fly over some that I find boring because I'm not gonna be out here talking about that for 35 minutes. We go over to Lisa Barlow preparing a little, breakfast brunch situation for a sit down with Miss Angie Katzenabis. And before we get into the scene, I have to say, Angie K, I am warming up to you. I was not a huge fan last season. I definitely got some thirsty vibes, but I have to say, as would I, if I were to be offered a role in a TV show and I got a couple of thousands of dollars an episode to prove myself, to get a spot for next season, I feel like now that she is a housewife, she has settled in, we get to see her real character, her emotional side, Angie K, to me, seems just like she is good. She can be messy, she can fight, she can flip-flop and wish-wash around a little bit, but that is just because she has the good heart nature. And I definitely see that in her, and I'm very much warming up to her. And reading and listening to the BravoCon recaps and everybody saying how nice she was and how, this is her thing, this little bit of fame, the acknowledgement, the whole nine, I am very much, liking her. I never thought I would. I was like, am I warming up to Miss Angie K? That is insane. I never would have thought. But anyways, we jump to Lisa and Angie. Angie, as always, looking moneyed down, okay? At her age, she looks at least 25, if not 30 years younger. Face is pulled, hair is snatched, body too, skin tight, outfits are very much Gen Z millennial, rich, money down. All in all, I'm becoming a very big fan of Miss Angie Katzenabis. She goes over there to talk to Lisa because both of them agree that they have been in a very strange position the past couple of days. They get to sitting down, and what I didn't like about this scene is how Lisa fails to put herself into the shoes of other people. She says that it's not her problem if Angie K feels scared to tell her things because of the way she reacted when Angie and Heather actually went birdhouse painting at Heather's house. So how is that not not her problem, Lisa? But it is her problem when she wants to be cordial and nice to Monica. I definitely did not get that. I definitely got Mean Girl vibes from Lisa this episode a little bit, which I find sad. It could be definitely it could just be a different situation with Lisa. She could just accept it. She could not be so fired up and triggered by Monica because something definitely struck a nerve there. Yes, Monica and her mouth can be vile, but if it were not for Monica, this season would have been at least 70% drier than it already would have been without her and without Angie. Let's be clear. So they get to sitting down. Angie K is shaken up in her voice. You can definitely tell she's nervous to tell Lisa how it makes her feel when she kind of has to walk around eggshells with her. And that is exactly what she says to Lisa at the end. She's like, well, you know, I'm trying to be nice, I'm trying to be cordial. Lisa's like, well, I feel like you're not being honest, Ange, and this, that, and the third. How come, you know, what I'm seeing is not matching up with your words? How come you're saying this, that, and the third? And she's like, well, you know, I had a sit-down conversation with Monica. And Lisa's like, well, I didn't know about that. But, like, Lisa, if you, like, storm out on your friends and say, don't touch me, and be so, like, obnoxious and so off-putting, of course she's gonna be a little bit, you know, on edge with telling you things. And if she's having progress with the people around her, that's just human logic. But I guess at the end of this conversation, they do wrap things up in a nice way, I guess. And I really hope that Angie K, slowly but surely, still on the way to find her voice, to at least grow that backbone a little bit more, because I am here for her. I'm here for her to stay seasons to come, and she definitely needs to fire back at times when she feels disregarded and disrespected. But anyways, you guys, that was it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed my recap. Thanks so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let's get into discussing what you thought about this episode. Hit the notification bell right in the comments down below. And thanks so much for supporting the channel. A subscribe doesn't cost a thing. No hidden cost. No membership. I promise. And yeah. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.